Hello. In this video, we'll be going over IRS Form 4506-F, Identity Theft Victims Request for a Copy of a Fraudulent Tax Return. So this is a form in the 4506 series that taxpayers can use to request tax information from the Internal Revenue Service. Specifically, this form is used if you're a victim in identity theft, where you believe that the identity thief used your information to file a fraudulent tax return. Fraudulent tax returns are generally, usually in the IRS's Dirty Dozen top, 10 or 12 tax-related fraud efforts, stolen identities and things of that nature. And at the time of this recording, we're in early February of 2024, so we're coming on the height of tax season. So a lot of people may find out when they file their tax return that one has already been filed using their information. So you can request certain information about this. You may be able to turn this over to, police or law enforcement as part of an investigation to help track down this person or persons that are committing identity theft. But so we'll go over this tax form. We'll also go over some of the other things that the IRS advises taxpayers to do. So we'll do that first, actually. So if you do believe that you've been the victim of identity theft, then you should probably notify the IRS, and you would not use this form to do it. You would use IRS Form 14039. We'll put a link in the show notes to that, and that's the identity theft affidavit that you can file with the IRS. And what that will do is it lets them know that you believe your information has been used, and it could be, more likely that they can expect to see a fraudulent tax return filed with that information. Now, the IRS can reach out to you, contact you if they believe something suspicious has happened to your account, or you may pick up on that and have to contact the IRS. Either way, filing IRS Form 14039 allows people to at least start the process where you get some additional protection. So the IRS can also help you with what's known as the Taxpayer Protection Program. So this helps identify and prevents processing of certain identity theft related tax returns, and then it will assist taxpayers whose identities are used to file those tax returns. Usually this will involve setting someone up in what's known as the Identity Protection Personal Identification Number, or IP PIN program, where they won't accept a tax return unless it's accompanied by your PIN. Most reputable tax preparation firms will educate you on this process. Be mindful of people that actually try to take over that process for you. You should be very wary of someone who insists that they need to complete the PIN on your behalf, or if they won't let you set up your own PIN number. You should always feel like you can protect your information, and then if you choose to share that information with your tax return preparer, that's based on factors other than them telling you that you need to. So if you tell the IRS, then they will help. They'll actually start a tax-related investigation. You'll receive a case number. You'll receive a letter of acknowledgement. You'll receive notification as to when the IRS believes that they've resolved your case. On the website, it says generally they may resolve cases within 120 days, but for cases with extenuating circumstances, it can take up to 2 years. So be pretty mindful of that. So you can always check with your state tax agency if you're filing state tax returns to see if there are additional steps that you should take. But then also common sense rules apply. Don't open emails with attachments from unknown senders. Don't click on links that you don't know where the URL is going. Be mindful of information that you're processing because a lot of how identity thieves work is by using a sense of urgency to extract specific information from that person, and then that person's information is turned around to use to steal tax refunds, for example. So a lot of the common sense approach to identity theft protection applies in this case. So now that we've gone through what the IRS can help you with, we're going to kind of briefly go over this form. So it's a one-page form. All of the instructions are in the back, including where to mail or fax this form to. So let's start at the top, where you can provide your taxpayer information. If you are not the taxpayer, then if you are a parent or a guardian of a minor child, that's okay. If you are a representative or a guardian or an executor or some other appointed representative, then this form, you will have to attach supporting documentation that indicates you have authority to request this information on behalf of the taxpayer. So in step one, this is going to be the information for the taxpayer whose name and information was used on the fraudulent return. So if you're not the taxpayer, keep that in mind. You should be putting the taxpayer's information in here. So in this case, John Doe is submitting his own form 4506-F. He's put in his social security number, the name that was used on the fraudulent return, as well as his mailing address. If he had a change of address, he would need to put that here. And if his address that's listed is not the same as the address on his most recent tax return, he would need to file IRS Form 8822, which is the change of address form. As a side note, any forms that I mention in this video, we'll put links to both an article and a video in the show notes for your benefit. So IRS Form 8822 is the change of address form. We'll put a link to that in the show notes. So in step two, now we're providing requester information. So these fields would look a little bit busier if John Doe was not the person reporting his own information. So if you were the parent of a minor child and you put your child's information here, you would then need to put your own info here. So let's just say that John Doe's putting information in, or John Doe's dad is putting in information on John Doe. So, and then we'll put in a different mailing address. So that's what it would look like if you had to put in information that was different from the person in step one. And then a CAF, that's basically the central authorization file. So if you are designated as a representative on, say, IRS Form 2848, that's the IRS Power of Attorney form, then you may be in this IRS system with a number that's unique to you. So the CAF number represents that. If you don't have a CAF number, then don't worry about it. If you don't know whether or not you have a CAF number, you probably do not. So just leave that blank unless you have specific information to put there. In step 3, we're going to provide the tax years requested. So according to the form instructions, you can request information for the current year plus up to 6 previous tax years. So in this case, we put in 2018 through 2022, and then we would simply sign, enter the requester's name, and then sign and date the form. And then whatever the daytime phone number is. So again, if you're not the taxpayer named in the step 1, then you would need to enclose either IRS form 2848, which is the power of attorney form, IRS form 8821, which is known as the tax information authorization form. This form doesn't allow you to make decisions for the taxpayer in front of the IRS. However, it does allow you to make information requests on your taxpayer's behalf. So, the difference might be an attorney who actually needs the IRS form 2848 to take some sort of actions or represent you in front of the IRS versus maybe your tax accountant who only needs to request certain information because you're helping them. So that's the difference. Or if your court-appointed representative of an estate or some other person, then you would be able to submit court documents that attest to your appointment. So if you needed to drill down into this, there is plenty of information on the back. You would need to either mail or fax the form. The IRS office in Fresno, California, if you're mailing it, send it to the Department of Treasury, Internal Revenue Service, Fresno, California, zip code 93725. For FedEx, UPS, or DHL, there is a separate mailing address here with an actual physical address, 3211 South North Point Drive in Fresno. If you're submitting by fax, then you will fax it toll free to 855-807-5720. Make sure that it's accompanied with a cover sheet marked confidential. So again, the IRS does kind of let you know up front that they may disclose information from your return when the disclosure does not seriously impair tax administration. So this kind of gives them the leeway to either mask or partially mask certain information on the transcript, but the instructions state that there will be enough data to determine how your personal information was used, which is probably the main point for most investigations that you would be requesting this information for. So that's all we have for this article or this video. There are plenty of other different IRS forms in the 4506 series. If this was not the correct version of the tax form that you're looking for, we'll put links in the show notes to articles and videos we've created about IRS form 4506, which is the request for tax returns, 4506-T, which is a request for tax return transcripts, 4506-T-EZ, which is the short form transcript, 4506-C, which is the tax transcript form that you may use or that you may use when applying for a mortgage and your third party, such as your bank or your mortgage lender, is requesting certain information from the IRS to verify your income. You can use 4506-C to allow the IRS's proprietary system to give specific information to those lenders. So we'll put links to all that in the show notes. You can also get a little bit more detail in our article, specifically more detail about those forms, more detail about what to do with identity theft, and then specific guidance on this form itself. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, comments, or if there is a topic you'd like to hear discussed in an upcoming video, please hit me up in the comments section. Thank you very much and have a great day.